Well, in the search of the new midfielder at Arsenal, because we know to it that Nogard will obviously leave the club of Arsenal come the summer and will be leaving. But if they win a double, he will be one of the greatest achievers in just a single season when he came in through the club of Arsenal. Remember, it happened to a player known as Julian Alvarez when he came in through the club known as Man City. In his first season at Man City, he went ahead to win literally every trophy that a player is supposed to win at club football in there for you. He won the World Cup, he won the FA Cup, he won the Champions League, and he was really all over the place. So he went ahead to also win what we call the Copa America. So guys, everything was on his on the receiving end of the player known as what's his name? Julian Alvarez. So Nogard will leave, and Arsenal is looking in for another midfielder. One will say Arsenal have been trying out Miles Lewis Kelly in the midfield. Guys, let me tell you, he's playing there because Zubimendi has run out of steam, and Mikel Merino is injured, and Nogard is nowhere near trust by Arteta. That is it. But if Mikel Merino was there, there is no way Miles Lewis Kelly would have gone ahead to get into that team. So all I want to let you know is that I don't think that he's in the plans of Arsenal. That is it. And they might use him to obviously get in pure profit because he's a homegrown player, and look out for players that are really finished articles, because a lot of things are still to be questioned onto this player that we are here talking about and discussing. And who are we talking about? Miles Lewis Kelly. That's why we have stories coming in through from Arsenal indicating that they are in for a player known as Enzo Fernandez from Chelsea. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name, and hope you guys are really having pure fun. And please go ahead and obviously continue to really subscribe to this channel. Now, who has gone ahead to obviously break this story? And he goes by the names of Team Talk. Team Talk have come up and told us the following, that Arsenal have now entered the race to sign Enzo Fernandez, with Man City and Barcelona also monitoring the Chelsea midfielder situation closely. Fernandez is on several Chelsea's players left. Is one of several Chelsea players left frustrated and uncertain over the club's current direction under Blue Company project. Despite Chelsea having no desire to sell, interest in the Argentine World Cup winner is rapidly growing ahead of the summer transfer window in there. And then we went ahead to obviously get a story from Transfer Checker. Arsenal are showing interest in Enzo Fernandez. The Chelsea midfielder is attracting attention ahead of the next summer transfer window, with Arsenal now emerging as a club keeping close tabs on his situation. So Arsenal are keeping close tabs onto a player known as Enzo Fernandez in here for you. So Enzo Fernandez, a player that me as a United fan really loved. When did I get to know about him? When Ralph Rangnick came to Man United after Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was sacked, he listed players that he would want the club to bring in through. Enzo Fernandez was worth 30 million euros from River Plate, and Benfica went ahead to pay that amount of money, right? Then the other player, Julian Alvarez, was 20 million euros, and at 50 million euros, those two players would have gone ahead to come in through and join the club of Man United. But because United never had an efficient footballing hierarchy, we missed out onto those players, I tell you. It was really very, very painful, and it never really went ahead to add up and really make sense. So, as it stands right now, Enzo Fernandez is one of those players that came in at Chelsea for 120 million euros. That is like 105 million pounds. The same amount of money that Arsenal used to buy Declan Rice from West Ham. And Arsenal want to reinforce their midfield. they need another extra midfielder to add to Declan Rice, Merino, Zubimendi, to be having 4 of those that can come in through and really compete hugely. Now, first and foremost, I would want Arsenal to get in this player, because I want this project of Arsenal to obviously go ahead and really be successful. That is it. And I've always gone ahead to tell you my reasons as to why I want this project to work out. I want this project to work out because in the modern day era football, I think there have been 2 managers that have been given time to build. One of the managers that has been given one of the first manager, I think, was Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool. 2015 came in through, started winning trophies, and he was there for close to 9 years at the side of Liverpool. You understand? He built a project, and then it reached where it is. The second manager has been this guy. Teams like Spurs need to learn a lesson. Teams like Man United need to learn a lesson, because ever since Arteta came in through at the club of Arsenal, do you know how many managers Spurs has gone ahead to sack? Mourinho was sacked. Mourinho was sacked. Nuno Espirito was sacked. Ange Postecoglou was sacked. Thomas Frank has been sacked. Hugo Tego has been sacked. They've gone ahead to sack close to 6 managers, and Arteta has just been here for 6-7 years. You understand? Then, after sacking those, then we went ahead to obviously see them sacking. Let's go to Man United. Solskjaer was sacked. Solskjaer was sacked. Ten Hag sacked. Ruben Amorim sacked. 3 managers have been sacked. But all those managers, if they were given chance to stay at the club of Man United, they would have gone ahead to change or turn things around. I tell you, that is it. So please, don't at any one particular time come out and really think that it's not really one of those moments where you feel like it's not gonna go your way if you really don't sack your manager. Arteta is a point of proof that when you give a manager time, things can change. So that's why I want him to get in more and more and more players. So Enzo Fernández to Arsenal. Now, the price to me is almost in the region of a player known as Sandro Tonali, 120 million pounds. That's what Arsenal need to pay to get in this player. But Arsenal, most important signing should be in the midfield. Either they get Sandro Tonali or they get Enzo Fernández. And between Arsenal and Chelsea, they've been doing good business. That is it. Arsenal and Chelsea have been doing good business for a very, very long time. If you've been following up on these teams, they've been doing some good business, and it speaks volumes that indeed they can work out something together. Because Arsenal bought David Luiz from Chelsea. They went ahead to get in Willian, though on a free transfer. They've brought in Jorginho from Chelsea. They've gone ahead to bring in through a player known as Noni Madueke, right? Kai Havertz. Close to 5 players. And out of those 5 players, 4 of those have gone ahead to come in the era of Mikel Arteta. Noni Madueke, Kai Havertz, Jorginho, and Willian. You get? So, they really do have a very good understanding. And Arsenal paying what Chelsea wants, Arsenal doesn't have any problem in doing that. Indeed. They don't have any problem in paying what Chelsea wants. The club of Arsenal. I haven't seen them feel like they don't want to pay what Chelsea calls in for. Kai Havertz, 71 million pounds. Noni Madueke, 60 million pounds. Jorginho, 13 million pounds. Willian came in on a free. So, if the player shows that he wants to leave and wants to come to Arsenal, I think Arsenal will get them. Secondly, they would have gone to get themselves a young player, 25 at his prime, who is a winner. He has gone ahead to win the Conference League with Chelsea. He has won the FIFA Club World Cup with Chelsea. Enzo Fernández has won the World Cup with Argentina. Enzo Fernández has won the Copa America with Argentina. And he'll bring a winning mentality into their team. He's just 25 years of age. That is it. No, not an injury-prone player. He scores goals. He is a hybrid of a midfielder, can play as a 6, can play as a 8, can play as a 10. That is the beauty of Enzo Fernandez. He's a multi-dimensional player, meaning that you would have gone ahead to add another quality player into your midfield for the club of Arsenal. And this will help Arsenal to obviously rest players like Declan Rice, or maybe say we want to rest Zubimendi, and see to it that by the time we reach the end of the season, these players haven't obviously gone ahead to run out of steam like we see Zubimendi is. So the other factor that you have to look at is the competition. Very many teams are interested in this player. But the most worrying bit of it is Real Madrid came up and obviously told us that the player came out and obviously told us that he wants to be at Real Madrid. That's the city he wants to be in. He was obviously sending a signal to Real Madrid that please come for me. And that's what went ahead to cause problems for him at the club, with the club, and they benched and they rested him for 3 games where he never featured in there. So he's a good player, and he's a set piece specialist, and you know what set pieces and Arsenal are. They are 5 and 6, Then he's a player who has proven to be that good, to see to it that no one can really stop him when he's really having quality players around him. Imagine Enzo Fernandez, Declan Rice in a double pivot of Arsenal. It will be obviously something that you can obviously talk about. Though I see Sandro Tonali being a better player, because Arsenal need more players who can hold onto that ball. But Enzo Fernandez brings in that extra energy, that die factor. He's a winner, and where Arsenal is, they need players who have good history when it comes to winning. So I think Arsenal can give it a try, and if Chelsea decide to sell, they can sell to Arsenal. That is it. And I think Enzo Fernandez can change his mind because of what Arsenal is going through. If Arsenal win the Champions League and win the Premier League, it will get into the brain of Enzo Fernandez that, I wanted to go this side, yet we do have a club called Arsenal that has gone ahead. Last season, it knocked out Real Madrid home and away. This time, they've gone ahead to play in the final. They want to bring me in. They're the right club because they're really showing me energy. And at Real Madrid, where you're going, they are trying to lose their stars. Kylian Mbappe, a petition of close to 30 million people, has been signed to see to it that they see him out of that club. They sack managers like no other. And if you've been following up on teams that have gone ahead, obviously succeed in their games they really do play, it's all about them keeping these managers here always. So if you really keep your manager around, that speaks volume to what you're obviously going to be achieving in here. So I want to let you know that it's really going to be something important for this. It's going to be really very important for the decision that this guy will obviously make, because as it stands, he has Madrid in his brain, but Arsenal is really performing very well, and he's still young. He can be like, let me give Arsenal some 3 seasons, sign a 5-year contract. At the age of 28, I'll go to Real Madrid when they've gone ahead to settle up, because Arsenal are trying to really dethrone the reigning champions of Europe. And who are those? We are talking about a team called PSG. So if you see what Arsenal is doing, you can easily join them. And the other factor that I think can obviously contribute hugely to Enzo Fernandez coming to a club of Arsenal is Arsenal wanting Julian Alvarez. For Alvarez, Arsenal has just gone ahead to obviously show him that this is where you belong. You don't belong to a side like Atleti that play football that doesn't bring out the best of you. So where do you belong? This is where you belong. So if that's where he belongs, then he needs to understand that Arsenal should obviously have another Argentine player playing that side. And that will be a very huge factor to really contribute to obviously getting in these two players who should be coming in through to put in a very huge shift altogether for the club of Arsenal in there for you. So, as it stands, the side of Arsenal has what we call two players that come from Argentina that they can sign. That is it. That they can sign and bring home. And that is really something great for the side of Arsenal and Argentina. So, Julian Alvarez might be a very huge contributor to the deal of Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez scores goals because his numbers are really huge. And when you look at his worst season for me, because this is his worst season at Chelsea, he has scored 8 goals in the Premier League and 3 assists. That is 11 goal involvements. And remember, he's a midfielder. He comes in from far in there for you. In the Champions League, 10 games, 3 goals and 2 assists, So that is Enzo Fernandez for you. He comes in through and gives you all that at the age of 25, meaning that he has now come of age. He knows these situations. He played in the World Cup final. Why not Arsenal get themselves a player like Enzo Fernandez? I think Arsenal should fight hard to see to it that they obviously get in a player known as Enzo Fernandez. I love the player. I've loved him way back when he was at River Plate, and whoever is obviously going to be getting him in will obviously get himself gold. So, it's now up to Enzo Fernandez, but I know Madrid doesn't have money to sign this player. I do believe they need to sell lots of players to obviously see to it that obviously strengthen their midfield. But going at Real Madrid, you ask yourself, will you obviously go straight in the starting 11? I think he will. They'll partner him with Tchouaméni and obviously Jude Bellingham, But Madrid is now building up, They are building up their team, known as a team that is ready to obviously win, That's why you see to it that they are trying to do the needful. And that always takes 3 years, This is the first year of their building phase because they brought in players that they're trying to obviously see build and turn into good players, And now they need to wait for another year, But the problem is you have to be doing that way, not losing your best players. But if at all Kylian Mbappe is on his way out of Real Madrid, it doesn't really add up to make perfect sense to me to really see to it that you can convince a player like Enzo Fernandez to come in through to this project in there. I know players in South America love this a lot, but I know it's really not one of the decisions that Enzo should make. Madrid is not in a proper shape right now. And if I'm the agent of Enzo, I don't go that side. I go to a side known as Arsenal. That is it. Because I know Arsenal is on a good run. I go to the World Cup, come back, do the needful. And at Arsenal, even though Julian Alvarez is there, Saka is there, Odegaard is there, if he can come in and really have a very good season, there is no way he can fail to win a Ballon d'Or, because Arsenal doesn't have that one player that is going to hit to stand out like the key figure of the team. But at Real Madrid, if you are Enzo Fernandez, you have Mbappe and you have Mbappe and Vini ahead of you. So I rather go in at Arsenal. I'm in London already at Chelsea. So that means you are not even gonna come up and obviously shift your family, to where you're residing. Even if you are to really change this, your home of residence, you'll still stay in London. I know Madrid has some good weather that is going to attract very many players to go there. But for Enzo, I believe he should really rethink and do the needful for himself. So as it stands right now, Enzo Fernandez is really having a very bad time at Chelsea. And Chelsea will be willing to sell him if the player continues to say, I'm out. For a team that obviously changes its managers, because ever since Enzo came in through at Chelsea, he had seen the following managers coming through. They brought him through when Graham Potter was the manager. Graham Potter never went ahead to accomplish the season, was sacked. Just months when this guy had just gone ahead to come in through. They brought in Pochettino, right? After Pochettino, Enzo Maresca. After Enzo Maresca, Rosinia. After Rosinia, they've sacked Rosinia. Another one is coming in through. And it doesn't really make perfect sense, you know? They should obviously come up and obviously do the needful. So you can't really feel safe at a club that really keeps changing managers. That is it. So at Arsenal, one guarantee you'll get is they'll obviously have Arteta with themselves. And that means Arteta will really do the needful. And by the way, for every player that Arteta is going to hit to sign at Arsenal, I haven't seen a player flop, especially these big money signings, you know. So that gives you guarantee that he will get you ample playing time as a player and you will enjoy yourself. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. Rokani David is my name. I hereby call in your reactions into the comment section below about Enzo Fernandez to Arsenal interest on, as Arsenal are keeping tabs onto Enzo Fernandez and they would like to bring him through at the Emirates to see to it that he partners up with Declan Rice and Martin Zubimendi to take on the new era and generation of the Premier League midfield partnership. Because Zubimendi is 26, you bring in an Enzo who is 25, I think even Declan Rice is 26, 27, they can ride that midfield for the next 5-6 years, as Man City was, you know. They had Ika Gundogan, they had Rodri, you know. They at a certain point had Fernandinho. So they had very many players playing in that position, and it really made what we call perfect sense. So guys, I sign out for now. Came in late, but we're obviously going to be adding up and bringing you more and more videos in here onto the Rokani Media Football. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. Keep it this channel and don't go anywhere. Love you, and let's see what comes in through from your comment section.